If you have a 401k or a retirement savings plan, you can easily drive yourself crazy watching the market and checking your investment balance. Well, that can also lead to frustrations and even a bit of confusion, especially if you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement. So it is reality check time with Michael Martinez, president of the Pension Group. Welcome back, Mike.
Good to be back.
So I'm sure you see that often. People saying, I've been checking my balance. I'm seeing all these things happening. The market's strong, though. It's up several hundred points. But, things are still in confusion. So kind of explain your perspective on that.
Well, really this market, what a lot of people, we hear all the noise from the media. We hear it from CNBC, Fox, whoever you listen to, from that specific standpoint. The Dow's at an all-time record high. And I tell people kind of take a step back, because if you look at May of 2015, we're about at 18.1, 18.2. As far as the Dow, we're 18.4, 18.5. So we're up about 300 points.
Okay.
That's not a lot of growth.
Right.
But we hear all this chatter, from different people. The market's doing great. I should be up 10, 15%. But in reality, the last 3 years, the market's been pretty much flat. And what a lot of people don't realize is when they look at their 401k statements, they'll see growth. But where's the growth coming from? It's coming from your contribution, and it's also coming from the employer match.
So you say there's something called the in-service transfer that's a good alternative to this. So what is that?
There is. Our last episode, I know we talked about, brokerage link and some of those things, but the in-service transfer is another option. And what an IST allows people to do is to transfer a portion of their 401k into their own IRA. Most employer plans are very limited, but what a lot of people aren't aware of, typically more and more employers are offering in-service transfers. Almost every employer out there, if you're 59 and a half, you can roll over your entire 401k while you're still working into your own IRA, still contribute to your 401k, every couple of weeks as you put money into it, so you're not getting out of the 401k plan. But now, if you've built $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, you can move that money and put that into your own IRA, where then we can help them protect it, show them how we can provide income guarantees to them, things along those lines that traditional 401k plans don't have the ability to offer to those participants. And again, 59 and a half is the one trigger, but a lot more plans that we work with are doing it at any age. So you can be 40, 35, 52. But the general norm is every plan out there, once you're 59 and a half, you have that ability to do it. And I know we've worked with a lot of people who are looking at in-service transfer as an option.
And why would this be a benefit? Why would somebody want to do this now that you mentioned it is an option?
Well, the first thing is, obviously, we always hear diversification. That's important. Again, as people get closer and closer to retirement, I know we've talked about this before here on the show, but I'm a little more conservative thinking. If you're 3 to 5 years out away from retirement, the last thing you want to do is see a 30, 50% drop in the stock market, and you're getting ready to retire.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you have $500,000, now it's worth $250,000, what do you do? Now that may derail your whole retirement plan. So again, we try to be more conservative. We'll use institutional money managers. We can utilize annuities that have income guarantees. Again, that's something that, if our listeners here today want to find more out, they can certainly give us a call to set up a meeting to go through their situation. But again, you have a lot more options, and when you can provide income guarantees that 401k plans cannot, that gives them certainly a distinct advantage to look at an IST as a viable option for them.
And I think that is important to note, that there are options, because a lot of us, like you said, you put your money in your 401k, you kind of put it and forget it, and you need to realize that you have to be smart and make plans for all of this.
Well, you do. And when you start looking at retirement, it's a different phase in life, because, we've been working 20, 30, 40 years for various companies. And all of a sudden, we're not going to have an income anymore.
Right.
So, how are we going to protect that? All of a sudden, if this market does drop, I know we're at all-time highs, as we like to talk about that, but again, in reality, we're really not that much, we're not that higher, we're not up 10, 20% as far as the market. And again, it's keeping that in perspective and saying, okay, if we are at all-time highs, how can we lock in those gains, keep those gains? Because the whole adage is, sell high, buy low.
Right. That's the goal.
Not the opposite. Unfortunately, when we have another, correction or bear market, a lot of people do what? They sell low, buy high. From that specific standpoint. So again, with that in mind, people can look at another alternative that obviously the employers aren't, educating their employees on, hey, you have an in-service transfer, you have brokerage link available. Again, if that's of interest, to our viewers, they can certainly give us a call.
All right, sounds perfect, Michael, with the Pension Group. All the information up on screen, so thanks.
Thank you.